Hey, and welcome back to Read, Watch, Play, the show where we tell you what comics we read, what movies and shows we watched, and what games we're playing. I'm your host, Clifford Parmenter, and with me enjoying his new super mug, Tony Cox, my co-host.
This thing is so ginormous.
Isn't it wonderful?
Like, I can eat ice cream out of this. I can eat soup. I
had cereal out of it the other day.
Cereal. I ate a hoagie sandwich out of this yesterday. It's amazing.
A hoagie sandwich? What, just with the meatballs dropping down?
Yeah, it was just sticking right in there. I'm just... So.
It's great. There's going to be a different one next year. I can't wait.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. There's gonna be, they want to make a new one every year.
Oh, that's awesome. Did they make one last year?
No, this is the first year.
Oh, this is the first year.
Yeah, so we came in at $9,000 out of $10,000 goal for the year altogether.
Great.
It is really
Especially
great for the first year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so
awesome.
Very happy. And then we did a Phil at Chill pantry drive on Friday night because at Chill Wine Bar in Beacon, New York.
I love wine.
So I came with a bunch of most people came with a bunch of stuff. I brought
There may or may not be wine.
Yeah, I brought toiletries, not wine this time. Wait for Christmas. I brought toiletries, so like I got a bunch of Dove 2-in-1 shampoo, and I got Dove soap for men and regular Dove soap because apparently there's a difference. Some toothpaste, some toothbrushes, 2 knit caps because they needed knit caps, and
I need a knit cap now that I'm.
Yeah, the winter's coming, and you're fully shaved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really good, and the food pantry's looking good. It was nice that people really came up with the toiletries. You know, almost hitting that money goal. Great.
That's awesome.
So it was really good for them. And then Saturday, I did the WizKids Open at Dragon's Den.
Oh
in Wappingers Falls.
Yep.
So like, all right. So
how many Unimines were there?
Not a one because we did sealed.
Oh, right. That's right. You guys were sealed.
Yeah, so we did Gotham Girls, which, by the way, just makes things so much better, especially when you're losing. Yeah. I have Barda and Mad Harriet for the Teen Superman Enemy Outwit, and I got clobbered.
Wow.
And this guy Rob came, and but he and sad because he pulled Flash, the God of Death, and he was really dishing it out. And then when it got to the finals, it was Shiny Vinny, who won, who I'm very happy that he won. Yeah. But I was surprised that, because Rob was really kicking butt. I was shocked he didn't go all the way. And there were so few of us. And 2 of us were, like, done. It was like the 4th round had ended, or 3rd round had ended, and they were like, oh, we're going to take a break. There was all sorts of problems. The WizKid system put a different time for the event than Dragon's Den had.
I was going to ask you about that. Like,
insane. So between that and the fact that Albany had a WizKids Open, 2 places in New Jersey had a WizKids Open on the same day. Yeah. Everything started falling apart. So we had 20 people who reserved a spot through the Den's website. Yeah. And then only 8 of us played.
That's weird.
And I did not reserve through the Den's website. So and the owner took it with a grain of salt. And I said, I'm extremely I'm like really shaken up by this because and I already felt like among the many things I'm having a problem with WizKids these days, I already felt like this event was watered down. It went from like a really special exclusive event that was only that was available you had to go to Maryland.
Five stores.
Yeah, it was like 5
the
stores.
The first year it was 5 stores.
Right, across the United States. So you had to go to Maryland to do this. Yeah, it was Baltimore, right? So you had to go
in Rochester also at Millennium Games.
Okay, in Rochester, but so you had to travel there to get to it. But still, there was convention exclusives you could buy, and fabulous pricing, and battle royales galore, and all this stuff. So really, money well spent because even if you lost the battle royale, you still ended up coming home with a really cool ID card or something.
It was like a mini nationals or something.
It was like a mini nationals. It felt super special, and this year it went from super special to dime a dozen. And I don't know how many people showed up Sunday. One showed up here on Sunday. I just feel
for constructed. We did constructed because Dragon's Den was doing sealed, so we wanted to do that.
And then we also lost some people because PAX Unplugged happened, right?
Yep.
And then I get the reports back from PAX Unplugged that only 9 people took place were part of the Heroclix tournament. By the way, congratulations to Isaac. So
yes, man, that kid is
on fire. So. But I also went, prior to that, I went to the Highlander WizKids Open.
Oh, that's right, you did. And that was constructed.
That was constructed, also horrifying. So that part is the part that's like kind of knocking me out of the game. And then like the fact that the WizKids Open went from super special to oversaturated, on top of my other problems I'm having with them right now.
So it is sort of oversaturated. A couple of major differences are the lack of purchasable exclusives that they've had in the past. The other thing is that typically the WizKids Open, I believe it's top 8 or top 16 get national invites, and now only the winner gets an invite. So the purpose of them, I believe, is still intact because there's fewer there's more events, but fewer invites per event, which is great.
I mean, that's fine, but there's only so many of us playing Heroclix who are there for that.
The other thing that I don't like about what they do is they make you run it in 1 month.
Yeah.
And there's only so many weekends in November that you can run it, especially with the holidays.
Yeah.
And you look at other games like Pokemon or Magic, and they'll do a season. They'll do a 3-month spread where you run one of your major invite event. You know, Pokemon does League Cups, and you run one League Cup per season, and there's 4 seasons in a year. So every 2 or 3 months you're running that one special event, and it and every store can run a League Cup. But the thing is because you can run it, you have that 3-month window to run it. They're not all piled onto each other.
Yeah, like Alternaverse had one not so long ago. Mm-hmm. You know, and I mean, like thankfully that worked out too.
Kerwin's is having one on December 3rd,
right after my toy drive, which is on December 2nd, starting at 11 a.m. at Poughkeepsie, New York, on 26 South Hamilton Street. Come join us; it'll be awesome. And we have fabulous guests. It's gonna be great.
So should we talk about some comics?
I think we should talk about some comics because we're gonna talk more about the weekend as we move forward.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to discuss this weekend.
Yeah.
My. So let's hop into comics. We're gonna go ahead and start with the big guns here first. We're gonna talk about our DC pulls. So Cliff, take it away. We're gonna start with Action Comics number 992.
Yes, the aftermath of the Oz effect. So, as we know, I was like a little disappointed because I just felt like you took 5 issues to tell me this story.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And I do really love Dan Jurgens. I mean, I love everybody, and I really like the Aftermath book. The Aftermath book, fired me up. So Superman is trying desperately. He's been like gone for 10 days. He's trying desperately to figure things out about himself. He feels like I only knew my father Jor-El through holograms and through story, and I never got to know him as a person. And I always believed that he was a good person. He wanted to save Krypton, and that was one of the molds for Clark to be a good person. And now that he has met Jor-El and he seems to be his father and he seems to have not been a good person, he wonders, what does that make me? What does that make my son? So Batman confronts him at the fortress and is like, you're still a good person, you're still Superman. And of course there are people in trouble. There's a small boat of refugees and they're being harassed by sea pirates, and Superman goes and takes care of business. Then Lois is waiting for him at the Daily Planet, and she's covering for Clark missing for so many days. She's like, he's in deep cover on a story we're working on together. And she's like, do you trust your reporters or not, Perry? And he's like, okay. And Perry's making a huge deal about how print media is dead, and in the meantime, I can't find my reporters. I mean, a really good argument when we're supposed to believe that print media is still active in the DC Comics universe. So he visits with Lois a little bit, and she actually says some really profound stuff to him about you just got to be who you are. And actually she said it to Perry first, and then it kind of got in Superman's head, which is beautiful. The Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan reaches out to Superman. He's like, there's something you may want to see. And they have the recording of Krypton exploding from Tomar-Re's ring. Batman in the Fortress had told Superman someone's messing with time, and he goes, "You don't even understand, Batman. You don't know what it's like to meet this father of yours all of a sudden." He goes, "Oh yeah, I did. It happened to me." So he basically tells him about, Flashpoint Batman. So he goes, "Someone is messing with time. We have to figure this out." So Superman's looking at the recording from the Green Lantern ring. They're like, "This is the real recording, Superman. It's not a fabrication, nothing. It's the real recording from the ring." And right as Krypton explodes, the whole thing gets distorted. And they're like, "I don't understand why the record is damaged." He goes, "Because time is being messed with." And he starts telling Hal Jordan, like, "I don't know what's going on. We have to fix this. Something out there is happening. Like, we have to stop this. We don't even know what kind of foe this is, who's just wrecking time." So anyhow, a little more time with Lois, and he goes back to the fortress. This is the spoiler moment. So
Wait, hang on. Let's have it. You ready for this?
This might be too soon. Yes! Spoiler alert. Yes, that goes up.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, so he has a cosmic treadmill that Barry gave him in the fortress.
Who does?
Superman. And he decides to use it to go back in time to figure out what happened. And 1 second after he vanishes, someone starts screaming into the fortress, "No, Superman, don't do it." I'm sorry, it's on the JLA Watchtower. It's on the Watchtower.
Yeah.
So 1 second after he disappears, someone shows up screaming, "No, Superman, don't do it." And on the final page, it's revealed that it's Booster Gold and Skeets. So I'm all about this. All about it.
So let me ask you this, because you were pretty harsh on the Oz Effect.
And yet in one issue, I'm being wheeled back in.
So let me ask you this. Did their setup and the reveal of Jor-El
Too much.
It was you think it could have been. It didn't need to be.
It didn't need to be like 5 parts. It really didn't need to be 5 parts.
But so you're more upset with the length of that. It could have been 2 issues.
It just
to not so much the content, but the length of it.
Right, because at a certain point, it's like, okay, like, why am I picking this up? Oh, look, this whole issue of Superman running around and Jor-El being like, "Look, super grandson, isn't this an amazing place that we should live?" That could have been 2 pages. I'm just saying, like, so.
This scene reminds me of in Lost.
Yeah.
When Jack goes, "We have to go back.
Yeah.
We have to go back to the island."
It's really screwed up that Superman wants to go back to Krypton. What a dangerous feat, by the way. Let me cosmic treadmill myself to a place where I'm sure to die. A place with a red sun that's going to burst into kryptonite.
Oh, that's right.
Let me run back there, because that's a good idea.
Yep. Wow.
Go save him, Booster. That's all I can say.
Woo! Why does he say oops? He says
because
oops.
it's a second late.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. Cool. So that's going to bring us into probably the biggest comic of this week. Doomsday Clock #1.
Bravo. I know you're all thinking, my God, what could Cliff possibly say?
I'm very interested. I did not have a chance to read this yet.
Okay.
And this is it.
I feel, just put the spoiler warning up now, because everything is a spoiler.
Let's do it. Spoiler alert!
I love that.
There's also a sound effect.
So,
can you guess what it is?
Danger Will Robinson?
Oh, it's the Red Alert from
Red
Red
Alert.
Alert klaxon from Star Trek.
So wrong of me.
Spoilers.
Okay, so from the 6-page reveal that we've already seen, we knew that Rorschach is back, that the world is totally, Ozymandias has been completely exposed to the world. Mm-hmm. So Rorschach is a new person.
Oh, it's a new Rorschach.
Yes, he's in the prison. He's looking for someone called Marionette. And she's like, "You can't be." She's like, "Really?" She goes, "You threw me down a flight of stairs." And he's like, "Not me, different guy." And he's like, always having to prove something. Like, he still talks like Rorschach, but somebody different. He pulls the glove off to show that he's black. And then puts the glove back on.
Okay.
Right? And Marionette's like, "Well, I'm not leaving without my husband." So they save her husband, who's, oh my God, he's another weirdo. Super ultra violent, like, puppeteer villain. And of course, we're getting lots of tidbits of what's going on around the world while we're fleshing out this adventure with Marionette and Rorschach and her crazy husband, who's like, I can't leave without my weapons. So they go to the locker room where they keep everyone's stuff in the prison when they have only like a couple hours left or 3 hours left exactly to get out of there. Mm-hmm. Not even exactly, because his watch is slow. So he's never really sure how much time they have to escape the prison before it blows up. And, but anyhow, they go to the locker, and Marionette's husband goes to pull his weapons out of the locker, and all the weapons are, like, you can't see them. They're either imaginary or they're invisible, but we don't get to find that out.
Oh, wow.
So he takes her back to Night Owl's secret lair, which, of course, he has a little bit of a hard time finding it. So this Rorschach says, it's too dangerous, can't write anything down. It's too hard to remember everything. It's all floating around in my head. So he has to do everything on the feel and by what he remembers. Wow. So he takes her to Night Owl's hideout, and she's like, Night Owl's your partner? And he's like, my partner is somebody else, and it's Ozymandias. And Ozymandias has cancer.
Okay.
And it's like, well, why? And Marionette's like, so why do you need us? He goes, I don't need you guys. I need you, Marionette, because we have to find God. She's like, excuse me? He's like, we must find Dr. Manhattan. He is the only one who can fix this. And I don't know where he is, but I need you. So I'm starting to think that she has a secret power that, that she has a power that we don't understand, that hasn't been like come up, because maybe that's why he needs her, so they can find him, or she has some sort of ability that could help steer them in the right direction. And then we shift to the night of Clark Kent's prom and the death of Mom Pa Kent, where right after they leave him at the prom, they promptly get into a horrible car accident that claims their lives. And Clark wakes up from this horrible dream, panting, floating, screaming. And, we don't see that. Lois is the one screaming. I'm like, Clark, Clark, Clark. She's like, you're screaming. The room was shaking. And he's like, what? And she's like, come down here, come down here. So he like floats down back to the bed. And she's like, what happened? What went wrong? And he's like, I dreamed about the night my parents died. He was like, it was a nightmare. She's like, Clark, like, I've never known you to have a nightmare. He goes, I don't think I've ever had one before. And that's our little close there.
Wow.
And it's dedicated to Len Wen at the end of the issue, which is very nice.
It's very nice.
And then of course there's they do like in the original Watchmen, there's like a piece of the Gazette to let you know what's going on. The menu at Joe's, which is kind of funny because Rorschach talks about what he had at Joe's while we're reading his narration. I still am not sure I am on board with this, because I very wholeheartedly feel from a place of art that Watchmen needs to be left alone, that it is itself, the artwork here was super beautiful, and A+ all the way for
it's very
Guy
reminiscent
Frank.
of the original. Like, it's like it feels like a contemporary like version.
Well,
layout.
I feel like they did this. I feel like they captured the color scheme.
Yeah.
Right? And use that, but with a more contemporary artist.
Yeah. But even like the panels.
No, the panels are just like before. It's a robust read, which is good, because you are going to be spending $5 on this for the prestige formats, and there's a lenticular out there too, but I don't even know.
The lenticular is great. Have you seen it?
It's Rorschach's.
It's mask. Rorschach's mask, but it goes from his mask
to Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
it's
symbols.
pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So whereas, okay, so like it's a solid woo for me, not a high woo, not a drop everything and go grab it woo, but it is also the book that everybody's talking about. I don't know how I feel about that, but beautiful art. The story was engaging. I will give it that. I wasn't sure it was going to be enough, but I'm in. The first issue brought me in. And
I was going to ask if you feel like it's enough to continue reading. Is it engaging enough to
it's engaging
to see
enough,
where it goes?
It's engaging enough to see where it goes from here. But I mean, I have concerns, and I'm very interested in how they're going to choose to handle Dr. Manhattan.
Was there anything in this issue that you felt was out of place, or anything that gave you a negative reaction to what they're doing so far?
No. Okay. Nothing happened here that gave me a particularly negative reaction. So I'm just like,
You're treading
Yeah.
cautiously into
I'm
the
treading
story,
cautiously, and we know how much I love Superman. But at the same time, I mean, we know who Dr. Manhattan is, and everyone I know is like, what kind of fight would that be? If Dr. Manhattan could snap his fingers, Superman is gone. He did it to. If that was Dr. Manhattan we saw during Rebirth, then he certainly did it to Pandora. Okay, just wiped her from existence. So anyhow, I'm interested to see how Dr. Manhattan will be portrayed. If he's even really the true villain in all of this. It might be.
He's probably orchestrating all of this.
It could be. Or what if the other universe version of him that's still floating out around there, the other version of Captain Atom that's very much like Dr. Manhattan. I mean, what if it's that guy? Because he's also blue. Like, it could be that guy, and we find Dr. Manhattan, and Dr. Manhattan has to fight him. Like, I know I'm reaching super hard with that, but I'm just saying, there's got to be a good chunk of humanity left in Dr. Manhattan by the time we reach him in this story. Because otherwise, what are we going for here? You are going after the best establishment of a god for these comics. Like, he just blinks people out of existence. I mean, he made a city on Mars. Like, it's and it's funny. It's a fantasy world, right? But I mean,
but you have to work within the rules that you've set up in that fictional universe.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. How angry I get about time travel. And at one point, Reed Richards in a Fantastic Four comic set the three variants of time travel. He broke it down. He goes, look, he's like, time travel is like not perfect. He's like, you'll go back in time to prevent something, only to realize that you were key in making sure that thing happened anyway. Right? It's closed circle. Like
causality loop. A
causality loop. The second one is you go back and you change things and you affect your timeline. You return home to your altered timeline. You did change the past, right? And then the last one is you go back, you change something, and that created a new timeline. And he's like, and basically you just roll the dice every time you time travel on what the result is going to be. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah. That's the best I could do. But anyhow, good start for Doomsday Clock. Very good start.
All right. So a couple more DC comics, including Justice League of America number 19.
They're still fighting Prometheus.
Woo.
He set a whole bunch of traps for them.
Woo.
Still good. He really is challenging Vixen. He's like, you really have. I'm going to tell you about the Vixen part. That's like the key part for me. He's like, oh, also Afterthought, the guy that they fight against. Like, Afterthought can see a few seconds into the future. That's why he's so good at fighting them. So he gives it to Lobo the whole issue. And then Black Canary tries to figure out a way to catch him off guard. But the main thing is Vixen is like surrounded by all the people who were invited to come to I can't remember which freaking headquarters they're in. It's not the Mountain. It's one of the other ones. There's a little brief moment of Dreamslayer getting pulled into the Microverse to hang out with the other survivors of his world, who are the good guys, and with Ray Palmer. So that's kind of nice. So that's a little side thing. But anyhow, Vixen. So her totem is basically powered by belief. So he's like, oh my God, you have these people fooled. You went out and made them believe that you, a billionaire woman, are just like one of them, right? So that belief powers your totem. He's like, so you're nearly indestructible. He's like, destroy your totem and I won't murder them all. Or I won't murder you in front of all of them. And he goes, trust me, I've already done the calculations. It's probably going to take me days, but I will kill you. Right? So anyhow, they just go for the fight. But while they go for the fight, Prometheus has sabotaged everyone, including Afterthought.
Yeah.
So that he's like, no. He was only there he was only there, as a catalyst to get you all in the same room. He's like, yep, he's like, I got bombs rigged over there. So that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. It's very good. Still one of my favorite comics. Huge woo for me. I love this iteration of Justice League of America. Steve Orlando and team are still doing a great job.
That's awesome. Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The count. Right. That is so good because those are the 5 seconds he has to react.
Oh.
And he can't because Killer Frost is freezing out the whole room.
Yeah. That's very cool.
And of course has him trapped. And then he thinks Prometheus is going to help him. Nobody.
Very nice. So still a huge woo, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
It's written very well, and thankfully the art is good.
All right, so next up is Teen Titans number 14.
Yes, part 2.
This is great cover art.
It's beautiful cover art. It's part 2 of the Return of Kid Flash.
The Fast and the Furious.
Yes, with Robin being the Furious. So Robin is still hanging out with Red Arrow, and they're still chasing after Onomatopoeia. And okay, so for those of you who don't know Onomatopoeia, he likes to take out non-superpowered heroes. He likes to go after the vigilantes. Which, of course, when the other Titans show up, what exactly does that create? More targets for him. Because the superpowered ones are interesting, but he'll want Robin, he'll want Red Arrow, he'll want... I forgot who else I'm thinking of. But you know what? Basically, let's just try to kill all the Titans because they're here. But it was... Anyhow, I liked it. They got cornered. Robin just felt like, okay, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to put myself out there. Even if I get killed, I'm going to go after Onomatopoeia. And Kid Flash is like, you're such a moron. And Kid Flash, runs. It's like, he's like, how do you survive in this team without me? And Kid Flash is pulling all the bullets out of the air. So that Robin can get to Onomatopoeia. So then finally, Onomatopoeia turns around, and Robin and Kid Flash are there to take him down. So anyhow, they're on this roof, and Kid Flash is like, look, here's all the dirt I got on Deathstroke. He's like, why can't we move past this? And Robin is like, I told you to get off the team because you have to do better, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, but, and I wasn't wrong. He's like, but the thing is, I have to do better too. We all have to do better, We all have to do better. So whatever, it's fine. But in the meantime, they're being watched from afar, and they're being watched by Tim Drake. And Alfred's like, are you going to tell them that you're back yet? And he's like, not yet. In the meantime, what is it? Superman number 37. Superman number 37 is part 1 of Super Sons of Tomorrow. So Super Sons of Tomorrow will take place in Superman, in Super Sons, in Teen Titans. So I'm very excited to see them tangle it. I very much wonder if A Lonely Place of Dying and Tim's interaction with Titans Tomorrow Tim is causing the Super Sons to take place.
Oh.
Or not. Or something else.
Future stuff that they alluded to in Super Sons?
Yes. And also in Lonely Place of Dying. Because he keeps talking to him about Connor. He's like, I don't know who you're talking about. And he's like, what? In the meantime, future Tim remembers everything that past Tim remembers.
Yeah.
And he's like looking at him like, why would you not remember Connor? What's wrong? So,
Wow.
But again, A Lonely Place of Living takes place in the same, sphere of Mr. Oz and whatever's going on with Doomsday Clock. So again, if time is broken because someone is messing with it, is Connor just in a lost fragment of time? Yeah.
But Jonathan has a poster of Connor on his wall.
I know. That's what's super cool.
So so is Damian forgetting? Oh no, Robin is forgetting
Connor. Yeah, no one. But the thing is, no one else has even mentioned Connor, and it's just cute that that he has that poster in his room. Yeah. And then what does that even mean? Who's that poster even of? But I just like that there's Easter eggs and they're toying.
It's very cool.
They're toying with ideas.
Hey Zach.
Hey. Yay Zach.
Very cool. So still a big woo for this.
Yeah, I'm always a little hot and cold with Teen Titans, but this was good.
Awesome.
I don't know why I'm very drawn to Wally West and Wally West.
Yeah.
So this brought me back. Unfortunately, Titans. I want to like the Titans book.
Yeah.
But I picked it up with Dark Troya, and I'm like, no. I'm like, y'all need to stop. Y'all need to go back to basics with Troya, and leave this alone.
Cool. So next up. Our last DC comic.
It's a mini-series. It's a mini-series.
The Demon Hell is Earth. Etrigan returns. Dun, dun, dun.
And art by my good friend Brad Walker, so I love it.
Very cool.
So Jason Blood keeps having this dream about this little girl asking for help. and Etrigan burning her alive.
Okay.
Etrigan is inside his mind, and he keeps trying to shut him out with liquor, and Etrigan's like, please, you can't do that anymore. Like, I'm just haunting you, straight up. That little girl is on a family vacation in Death Valley that the little girl asked for, and then she goes, I had that dream again. She goes, but I wasn't asleep. Right? And her parents are like, oh, honey, but this is your trip. Like, don't worry, relax, we're going to have a good time. There's a nuclear bomb headed right for them. Right? So the bomb is going off, and Jason Blood's like, I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to let it hit us. Right? And Etrigan's inside his head like, nope, you better do it, because the only way we have a chance of surviving is in my body.
Yeah.
And he goes, look at this thing. He goes, look at it. This is work of hell, because the bomb goes off and you like see a hellacious face inside the bomb.
Jeez.
So he transforms into Etrigan. In the meantime, where the missile was launched from, there's some guy who's like talking to his lord and master, who he has served all his life, and then of course his lord and master, whoever he is on the other side of the phone, burns him alive, and it's like, thank you for your work, and now you're ash. So Etrigan, transformed, finds a little girl who is fine. However, she is being traced by horrifically demonic versions of her family now. In the meantime, while Etrigan is going, the little girl's asking for help. Etrigan's hand is his hand out, just like in his dream, and he hears a voice telling him, oh, you really want to do it? You really want to kill the dream girl now? And it's Jason Blood. So he's like, oh, look, now I haunt you. So when they switch roles, the other person is actually haunting them now.
That's very interesting. I like that.
It is. In the meantime, Madame Xanadu is hot on their trail because she's been having visions of this dream as well.
Oh, that's who that was.
And of course she's going to try and help the best she can.
Yeah.
Because she's the one that basically establishes that hell is going to be unleashed on Earth if we don't get this to stop. Oh, and then, of course, where the bomb went off, that big demonic arm reaches out.
Very interesting.
I would guess for giggles, it's Necron. No, the demonic one, not the death entity.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it was good. It's only first of all, huge woo, because I always love Brad's art, but a good engaging story. Only 6 issues. I'm
very cool.
Super on board.
What's the price point on this?
$2.99. You know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Good price point, solid read. 6-issue commitment.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm very happy.
Very cool. All right. So our last comic this week is a Marvel book.
Oh, yes.
Thanos number 13.
Yes.
This is the first in the Marvel Legacy series. Thanos Wins.
Part 1. So, it's so great because there's a narrator, and the narrator talks about all the cosmic beings, all these powerful heroes, and how they always have the fortitude to win. And what they're most afraid of is that one day they will not win, right? One day they will lose. And one day they will not be able to save this precious universe of theirs. And if you ask all of them what they think it will be, their answer will be Thanos wins. So Thanos is on the Chitauri planets, and he's like, and the narrator's like, oh, he had all but forgotten them. And he's just like crushing them and killing them. And then one of them is talking, and he's about to kill him because he's like, you're incessant clicking, because I guess when the Chitauri talk, there's a lot of clicks. And he's like, but sir, please tell your god to stop killing us. And Thanos is like, I'm sorry, my what? Right? And he's like, it burns like the phoenix, and it's tearing through everything, and like blood is raining down from space, right? Because something is destroying everything up there.
What?
So, listen to this. It's sent from the future, power cosmic, because he was Galactus' herald, Ghost Rider. And to make it worse, he's known as the champion of the final king. So he comes to take Thanos with him. So Thanos, of course, boom, knocks him around like a rag doll and tells him to die. And he's like, oh, you're going to make this hard. So he wraps him in chains. The chains are the crimson bones of Sidorak. It's the bones of Sidorak. He wraps them in.
Whoa.
And he goes, you might find that you can't move. It's because I have a tiny piece of the time stone to hold you still. And he goes, now, this is the part where I normally tell you to hang on, but yeah, you know. And he drags Thanos off with the cycle through space and time. And then they get to a really horrific throne, because like the throne is essentially made out of the head of Galactus, right? And the final king is there, and it's old ass. Spoiler alert!
Engage spoiler.
Engage spoiler alert. Old ass Thanos, the final king.
Old man Thanos.
Yeah. I keep calling him Thanos. Like, that's what I grew up with, and everyone
What?
calls him Thanos, and I'm like, oh yeah,
What do you call him?
Thanos.
Thanos?
Yeah. And I guess it is Thanos. I mean, you know,
You
sometimes
say potato, I say tomato.
You know what's really horrible? So when I was in 5th grade, I knew what a chameleon was. I didn't know how it was spelled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading like just superheroes, and I'm like, oh, like Chamlin boy, right? And then one day we're doing science in 5th grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're talking about like amphibians and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and of course everybody has to read in class, and I'm like, the Chamlin, and they're like, Cliff, that's chameleon. I'm like, I've never seen a chameleon. I didn't even know this is chameleon. I've never seen. I was like, I know they exist. I know they change color. I'm like, how was I even supposed to know when I was reading this? They're like, well, if you read it and it's like a lizard that changes color, why weren't you thinking? And I was like, I feel very stupid and ashamed. Thank you. So anyhow, huge one Thanos, because that was all sorts of crazy stuff that I was not expecting.
Wow. Hey, Bella.
It's Sam.
They're setting up a huge dinner at the Elks Lodge for
Oh.
tomorrow. So that's right. If you're in America, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So we should say at the end of the show what we're thankful for in geekdom. So think about that. So where are we on the woo-boo scale for Thanos?
It's huge woo.
Huge woo?
Didn't
All right,
I say
great.
that?
You may have. I was probably reading.
Yeah, it's okay. But yeah, huge woo for me. I was like, a very engaging, big, robust story.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And, see, I work in a little Marvel for you guys.
Yeah,
Working
every once in a while. I've been waiting for the next US Avengers to come out because I want to continue reading.
It just
that
feels like
story.
forever, doesn't it?
I know. I'm like,
In the meantime, other books, like I blink my eye and the next issue is out. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
how's this happening? It's so fast.
all right. Let's jump into what did we watch. We've got a big what did we watch segment this week. We're going
We
to touch
do.
on a lot of stuff, including our Justice League review.
Well, actually, I want to start off one that I think we didn't pull up an image for.
What's that?
So I watched the first 2 episodes of The Punisher.
Oh, I watched. I think I got almost the full episode in of the
Yeah.
first
Okay.
issue until my family showed up, and then I had to turn it off.
Of course, but okay. So like, here's like, all right. I mean, you have your issues. I mean, obviously, you've got children. You do not want to watch this around them. But like after like having watched Justice League, I was like, okay, I can't jump into the show because I'm in a happy place from Justice League, and like, I really love what they did with the veterans. In fact, I think they even casted some real veterans.
I'll be
for that
honest with you.
scene.
The first most of the first episode that I watched was a very gentle ease into the Frank Castle world and the it wasn't too overbearing. It didn't shove you into the story. It let you settle in. I love where the character's at. I love what he's doing. I love this sort of like reintroduction to the character.
It's a big
very
reintroduction. In this story, they're playing more with the concept. I mean, story concept, but in real life, a very serious thing.
Nice. Yeah.
With PTSD.
Yeah.
Right? Which, like, there's no way that Frank can't, like, it's just no way that it's just like Frank doesn't have PTSD from something, you know?
Right.
But he made a big deal in Daredevil, right? About, no, I know guys with PTSD, we're not going to use that defense. Okay, fine. And I start thinking about it and I go, well, maybe what they're doing here is the PTSD is actually from the trauma of coming home. You know?
Yeah.
because you are home and now your precious family is gone.
Yeah.
And I feel that's the trauma that I feel that we should be going on. And so far the show is leading me in that direction. But it's heavy. It is like heavy to watch when you're trying to switch gears, you know. And it's Thanksgiving week, so I'm like, I've watched 2 episodes. I'm gonna come back to it because it's a big gear switch for me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have an easier time sort of compartmentalizing, like when I'm
normally
watching
I
stuff
do
in the
too,
theater
but
and
this was
stuff like
like.
so.
This is just...
Well, there's also a lot of baggage. We'll get to it, but there's a lot of baggage with Justice League as well, and outside of that, and so I'm probably going to continue watching it too when I get the chance. You know, after the kids go to bed. My wife's not a huge fan of that kind of stuff. I showed her. We'll talk about it in a minute, but I showed her the trailer for Crisis on Earth X, and she even couldn't handle that. Her extended family lives in the Ukraine, and so like they were in the backyard of like a lot of World War II stuff, and so she has a hard time when Nazis are involved in that kind of thing because she literally knows people who it was directly affected by, because she's gone and visited her extended family and. I'm sorry. They live in Poland now, but before the war, they lived in the Ukraine because of the border change and everything. So, so let's Bella.
Hey,
we haven't seen Runaways yet. Inhumans is not worth the watch, in my opinion. But if you're looking for something that's sort of not, I don't know. I think I watched
Runaways is great. If you
has it been released?
Yeah,
the
episode 1 is out.
Okay, great.
And fantastic cast.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Very solid. Nothing is comic book perfect. Nothing's comic book perfect, but very solid.
And Cliff has talked about The Gifted before. I haven't had a chance to catch up on it. I've seen the first episode.
And like I said, that's the worst. To me, that is the worst episode.
I very much want to jump back into it and watch.
There's a lot. I'm still don't want to say like it's. I don't want to. I also don't want to oversell that. But as far as watching a show that really deals with mutants being mutants, I feel like The Gifted is on point.
Awesome. So hey Patrick. Yeah, I'll agree with you. Yeah, Inhumans was very disappointing. All right, so let's move on to. We're gonna quickly touch on this week's Supergirl. All of the CW shows have been solid in my opinion.
Do you know what I love too? I don't know if you caught The Flash this week, right?
I did. I'm all caught up.
Don't you love how it's like they thought this out and they pushed everyone to a point where it was like, you know what? We need to stop our crap and relax. Our friends are getting married, and we need to just focus on that and chill. Yeah. Right? But in real life, right? In real life, that's kind of a thing. So-and-so's wedding is this weekend. Let's just turn all the madness off because we're going to so-and-so's wedding this weekend. It's going to be a great time. So I feel like that didn't literally happen, Supergirl, but Supergirl has a line in the Earth X crossover trailer where she says, I'm just happy to get away from all of that. Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. Yeah. Because in Supergirl, they actually find one out. Now, it's so great because in the trailer, the episode's called Wake Up. Yeah. The trailer for the episode...
Adam, can we get this full screen real quick?
The trailer for the episode, they continually said she's not dreaming. Yeah. Like they told you in the trailer, we want you to know this is no dream. That whatever you're going to see in this episode is what you're going to see in this episode. And of course, the fact that I knew they were introducing the Legion into Supergirl canon, there's my now. But knowing that they're going to bring the Legion to Supergirl canon, I understood Mon-El's behavior a lot more. Because
when they said the ship was from 12,000 years before, I looked at my wife. My wife and I were watching it. She loves Supergirl, and I said, he's from the future. And she's like, what? But they said it's from 12,000 years. I'm like, he's from the future.
Yeah, because it's been sitting under the Earth. Yeah. Yeah, but the ship's from the future. So. So anyhow, they have their whole confrontation, and he's been living 7 years in the 31st century, where Supergirl's been missing him for 7 months. And then, of course, they have very, very awkward interactions. He is trying to save the life support on the ship, which I assume they're all Legionnaires. One of them, the life support system is failing. And by the way, so for those...
Who is that?
Saturn Girl.
Oh, that is Saturn Girl.
Yeah. Now for those,
I didn't know her real name. So.
Emma Ardeen. So so for now, of course, they said what language are you speaking? He said Saturnian.
Oh,
when they encountered
my kids were also screaming and running around and playing in the living room.
Well, here's the other Easter egg. In season 1, Kara picks up the Dwarf Star Matter key to the fortress.
Well, she goes in and there's a Legion ring.
And there's a Legion ring.
In
that's
Clark's fortress.
So that's all wonderful setup to where we are now. Now, when he tells Kara, I can't get in here. He's like, I keep punching. I can't get in. It's made with Dwarf Star Matter. And Supergirl punches it and releases the girl inside, which turns out to be Saturn Girl, which then is revealed to us at the end of the heartbreaking episode to be Mon-El's new wife. Now, in the comics, Mon-El's, wifey. They were married at one point, but I think that could have been his legacy character. That part's confusing, but mostly it's just all about him and Shadowlass. Okay. Like, they've almost always been together until, after the Legion of Three Worlds, then it got really weird with her not, finding him to be man enough for her, and then, hooking up with Earthman, the most racist villain they've ever had. But I mean, I just did not like the way that they took Shadowlass after I like everything they did with Shadowlass right until now you're not good enough for me. I'm going to go hook up with racist dude. I couldn't handle that. That just got wild.
So how much did this episode break your heart?
Huge heartbreak. So much so that I think I was retweeted 26 times on my heartbreak. But it was good. I like shows to shake it up. It was too much shaking it up for me on the Legion side, but it's television continuity. And I love the Legion. I'm happy to see what they do.
So there were 5 other passengers besides him.
Brainiac 5 will be one of them.
So, because we know that there's been casting for Brainiac 5.
Yep.
So, Saturn Girl was one. Brainiac, who's the other 3?
Well, one of them looks huge. So I'm going to assume that that's Block.
Okay.
And I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think who would be fun. There's lots of female Legionnaires. Mm-hmm.
There's definitely going to be at least one more female Legionnaire.
If there's one more female, I'd like Shrinking Violet. I'd like Lightning Lass because it's just, if we're not going to have her brother hanging around, because it's Lightning Lad who's typically married to Saturn Girl.
Gotcha.
I think I told you all about their son and Darkseid stealing him and stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, I'll be very interested to see. There's so many Legionnaires that I'm just Phantom Girl who can phase through stuff.
Yeah.
There's lots of fun characters they can play with.
Very cool.
While Kara's being emotionally tormented.
Was Martian Girl ever
a Legionnaire? No.
Okay. Yeah, so I really enjoyed this episode as well. I really like what all the CW shows are doing right now.
Oh my gosh. So Flash, the Thinker toying with him.
Great episode. Just such a great
This is the season I always wanted. Remember I've said repeatedly, I want a season of rogues and this is finally it, and I love it.
But there's also a centralized villain, which is great.
Yes.
Because he's the one manipulating all this.
But he's not dominating.
No.
He's not dominating the season. And it's wonderful. It's a breath of fresh air.
And let me tell you, his character development in this episode is incredible.
Yes.
This villain is becoming one of my favorite TV villains ever.
Right, because finally it's not a speedster, and he's just really great at being a villain.
Well, and the fact that it's a husband and wife duo,
yes.
and then we see his. I'm getting chills because I'm so excited about where this season of Flash is going.
And don't you love when there's good character motivation too for your villains, where you're just like.
And I love that. I love that Barry knows that he's the one.
Yeah.
That he's the bad guy. Nobody else believes Barry, and in fact. The Thinker and his wife catch Barry at every possible moment to make him look bad in front of other people, and basically get him suspended from the force for 2 weeks. I mean, it just it's and seeing that struggle and having Barry having to convince everybody, and he finally ultimately does because he just goes to him and he's like, why are you doing this? And he's like, so are you asking or is the Flash asking? And then that's when Barry realizes, oh, you're the dude. And then the guy just doesn't deny it. In fact, he tells him, he's like, no, I've got everything calculated. It doesn't matter that you know who I am. I got everything figured out. So
It's so,
Very
but
excited.
again, he still looks like a crazy person to just about everyone else.
Yeah, well, it's because like you almost want to root for this guy too. Like, there's some part of you that's like sees his side of it.
Of course,
You
yes.
know?
That's why it's like such a good villain.
We're not entirely sure why he's doing all of this.
Yeah.
But it's clear that he shares his origin with Barry to an extent of that night that the particle accelerator exploded, and there's some exciting things happening and some exciting seeds being planted that I'm very excited to see what happens and,
I mean,
and
as
what they
this,
grow into.
he manipulated them into getting Barry out of the Speed Force and diverted where Barry would appear intentionally to be by that bus.
Yep.
That alone was such great setup for our new villain.
So all of the CW shows have been huge woos for me.
Yeah.
Last week's episode of Arrow with Deathstroke and his son Joe.
Oh,
So good.
I want it to tie into Titans so bad. I really hope it will. I really
so
do.
good. And this week's Legends, Damien Dark recruiting Grodd into the Legion, and we're gonna talk about it here in a minute with Justice League on the big screen. If that keeps going, we may be seeing
All
double
sorts of stuff.
Legions. So
We'll be seeing stuff.
very excited. So all right, real quick, we're gonna talk about the upcoming Crisis on Earth X.
Oh, so excited. Go full screen for a minute.
So this is huge. This is the crossover I've been waiting for. Last year with the Dominators was cool. It was okay.
Cool. Listen, for them gradually stepping forward.
Yeah.
I thought last year was a very progressive move.
Yeah.
I think Supergirl not being fully integrated, her show not being fully integrated into the event, hurt it a little bit. The fact that this year all four shows are fully integrated.
2 nights.
Yes.
Monday and Tuesday. Superhero action. New characters, evil versions of characters we know and love. I am so excited about
Different versions of characters we know and love. A good Captain Cold. A Prometheus, who we assume
in
is
the visor. Captain Cold's got his visor.
He's got his
I'm
visor.
so excited.
Oh my god, he keeps calling him Ollie.
Yeah, he calls him Ollie. It's exciting.
And he's like, no, and he's like, I'll get through that cold exterior eventually. And Sarah's like, no, you won't. He's like, I was talking to you, and I was like, I love everything about this guy.
It's very cool.
I'm so sad these are his final appearances as any.
Yeah. So what was because Wentworth Miller?
Because he's got other projects. He's got Prison Break came back. Him and the guy who plays Heatwave. I don't even know how that guy could do 2 shows. Like he must be literally running set to set. And Wentworth Miller is like, I am not running. I'm the star of this one. I'm not running set to set.
It's such a shame because I like he sort of announced that he's retiring from the CW verse, right?
Yeah, and so is our precious Professor Stein.
Professor Stein. I want them to bring
who has a couple. What's his name? Oh my god, I love him. I can't think of his name. But anyhow, he has
Professor Stein.
Yeah,
it's Victor Garber.
Victor Garber has a few more appearances on. Maybe one more appearance for the last couple episodes of
Flash.
The Orville.
Oh, the Orville.
Yeah.
Is he retiring, or is he?
No, I don't know, and I'm actually wondering if the Orville's if he's getting an upgrade over on the Orville or something, because he's not completely retiring.
Right. We just saw him on the Orville like last week or something.
Yeah, like very briefly. Yeah. Yes, he did. He did fun. So and he's in the pilot episode too. He has a little more work over there, and I guess he has some other stuff he's working on. I mean,
it's possible he's just he's like, okay, I've done this for long enough.
Right, and how much more can I do with this character?
Yeah, and that's fine.
I love him and Jax swapping bodies 2 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh!
Let me tell you,
so
that
funny.
So, but the funny thing is, like, I believed Victor Garber could do it. This is an Academy Award winner, so yes, I believe he could do the body switch. But the other guy doing him,
so he was spot on.
I think that is the best sign of being not only great actors but a wonderful, cohesive cast. Yeah. When you can every gesture, everything capture everything about the other person that you work with. Oh, so good.
So this Earth X crossover, we're gonna meet the Ray.
Yep.
We're gonna see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. The Ray and they.
You know who I didn't see him in the trailer, and I'd be a little bit disappointed if he's not in this. Is Elongated Man.
I don't think he's part of the crossover.
Yeah, I'm
Just
a little
there's
bummed.
No Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, I'm a little bummed about no Elongated Man, but whatever.
I just
Unless he shows up on Earth X as an evil version.
Oh my god, that would mess things up. But
So yeah, super excited. This starts next week, right? This starts Monday.
yes, starts Monday night, 8:00 with Supergirl. Part 2 is Arrow on a special night.
Yep.
Part 3 Tuesday night with The Flash, and Part 4 Tuesday night at 9 with Legends of Tomorrow. And of course, we meet Russell Tovey playing the Ray.
Yeah.
Which, although I've seen pictures of him in the Ray, I also saw pictures of him in. Oh my god, camp.
Camp?
Evil camp.
Evil camp?
Yeah. Nazi
What's
camp.
evil camp? Nazi camp?
Yeah.
Oh,
concentration camp.
Oh, in
concentration camp uniform with the triangle to label you
on Earth X.
On Earth X, yeah.
Earth X.
So but yeah, Russell Tovey, is gay, and he's been on the series Looking, and he's on Quantico, and I mean, I feel like they couldn't have picked they couldn't have picked anyone better to just fit this.
This is gonna be awesome. Red Tornado's in there. Season
Droid is back, looking like Metallo.
Yep.
Prometheus, Evil Oliver, and possibly Evil Barry.
No, they showed
Wells?
Harrison Wells in, which is odd. I don't know why they would show Harrison Wells as Reverse Flash as opposed to Eobard Thawne, but
well, it is Earth X, so everything, and they have a Supergirl on Earth X, so they're it's all wibbly wobbly over there.
Yeah, but I mean, Eobard Thawne is.
But on a world where most of the good guys are bad, good Wells would become a bad Flash.
Oh, okay.
That could make sense. Also, but if you watch the CWC Seed, right? They have an Evil Barry over there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
is that show started already on the Seed?
Yeah, you can watch it on the Seed, and it gives you some of the background for this.
So that takes place before this?
Oh crap! Now I don't know.
Or does it be after this?
Maybe after this. That makes more sense.
Does it?
I think so.
All right. Because I was gonna hold on.
Then that also means I don't think they defeated all these guys. I'm so confused.
Maybe it is before. And they're just maybe in the CW Seed when he gets captured, that's why he's in the camp, and then they break in or whatever. So.
Just to wrap up, I'm really happy to see a lot of these characters, and seeing Red Tornado again gives me hope that we'll get Red Tornado back in somewhere else. Because in Supergirl, I was just so upset that Red Tornado was destroyed. Comic book accuracy, Red Tornado's the villain first, and then becoming self-aware is like, oh, hey, I'm doing this. Jason!
Yeah, Jason, are you saying Tom Cavanaugh is a good actor?
Yes, he is.
Plays Harrison Wells? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Wells. Can we briefly just mention the Council of Wells?
Oh my God!
So good. Like I like when they did Gandalf Wells, I thought that was a little over the top.
Yes.
But I mean, and the the cyborg Wells, I was like, really?
Somewhere in the multiverse.
Yeah, but I guess it was cool. It was cool. So
yeah. Look, cool, and it's its own joke. I love it.
All right, so let's move on to the meat of the topic. We're gonna talk. We're going to talk Justice League. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review. So, Adam, throw that... There it is. Spoiler alert. All right, so this past weekend, the Justice League finally arrived on the big screen in all of its Zack Snyder-verse glory.
And then some.
And then some. And then with a dash of Joss Whedon. And it was met with...
mixed reactions galore.
Mixed reactions across the board. Critical and... oh, no, he's saying the dude who plays the Ray is a pretty good actor.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So...
Let's talk Superman right away.
We'll talk Superman
I will
right
away. In 30 seconds, I felt they addressed what needed to be addressed with this character. Very quickly. I have a list of chief complaints with Superman, the DC Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
right? One of them was, we're just supposed to assume how Superman evokes hope to people, you know? But look, he did these heroic acts. How is it that just doesn't inspire everybody, or just by seeing? I'm like, I'm not one of those people. I need it. I need it hard-coded. I need Superman to be on a ledge and talk someone down from that ledge. I need that. That's what I need. Those first 30 seconds showed me that. You know? These kids going, Superman, talk to us. It's for a podcast. Oh, well, in that case. And smile and nod and talk to the kids and answer questions and talk about hope being a river. I loved it. And he agrees. Yes. Yes, Jason. Yes. I love when we agree.
I agree too, because that brought Superman the idea back.
Yes.
And you needed to do that so that we were missing it, you know, in the first part of the movie before he returns, you know, so that we're missing that.
Yeah.
And hence why, you know, Bruce is so adamant about trying to get him back, because he realizes
the moment he realizes he has the opportunity, no less.
Yeah. Because he realizes that not only what their team needs is Clark, but the world needs Superman.
Yeah.
That needs that symbol of hope, because that's not him. Diana's been MIA for the last,
which, by the way,
long, and
how good was that, by the way? Because I was blown away and I loved it. And they also corrected Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
They made a huge mistake with her talking about, well, I gave up on the world of men. That was a huge mistake. So in this movie, by her clarifying that she didn't give up, I fought when I was needed. I just wouldn't lead.
Yeah.
A huge recovery there with her confrontation with Bruce.
And the other thing, too, is like it makes sense with the events of Wonder Woman, where Steve Trevor sacrificed his life and lost, and she felt like
responsible for this.
She felt responsible for that, and so she didn't want to feel responsible for that again. And you know, they really added some context to that, and brought that full circle, and is going to set up now an interesting Wonder Woman 2.
Yeah, by the way, Wonder Woman, of the DC Cinematic Universe so far, Wonder Woman has the best story arc. We meet her. She decided not to give up on men. She showed up to fight Doomsday. Then we see her movie. We're like, you're awesome. Why did you give up on men? And then it was like, I'll tell you why I did. Yeah. And it's like, well, you can be a light too, Diana. And at the end of the movie, sure enough, she is. And I'm just like, yes.
So initial reactions after seeing this.
So only 2 movies left me feeling happy, left me feeling good, left me walking out of the theater with a smile on my face every time I watched them, and I watched them more than once. And those movies this year are Spider-Man: Homecoming and Justice League. Now, at no point will I defend Justice League as a perfect movie, okay? But it is a good movie, and I will defend that, because people saying it is not a good film on top of everything else is really upsetting to me. It is a good film. It is an entertaining film. I was engaged. It is a simple plot, a very simple story. That's it. It's not going to get more crazy than that. But a bad film is one where the plot is all over the place. You really don't know what's going on. You're bored, you know. None of that here. It was 2 hours. The pacing really happened. There was a lot to get in, and that is good, but also on the bad side, because if you blink, you miss some of the stuff that was jammed in for you to understand the story.
So, watching this movie, I've been waiting for this movie for 36 years. 30 years anyway. I'm 36. Ever since I was a little kid, and I learned, and I learned about Superman, Batman. I watched Superman the movie. I watched Batman, 1989 Batman, when I was 7 years old. I've wanted to see Batman and Superman on screen together. And then I saw that. And I was not disappointed, but I was less fulfilled than I thought I would.
Yeah, this wasn't the team up you wanted.
Then
Jason, I agree with you on the outfit. Superman's outfit.
I didn't really notice the costume change, but is this the costume change?
No, it's so much brighter. Like,
oh, no. That's not a costume change.
Yeah.
That's a film change.
Yeah, of course.
The entire movie is normal colored.
Yes.
That is a they took the Zack Snyder filter off.
Yes.
And made the movie. Yeah.
I think Joss Whedon created some balance.
So I've been waiting for this. The ultimate cut of Batman v Superman certainly improved the experience of watching that movie. It is now the only version of that movie I will ever watch.
But of course, for me, I've said repeatedly, it fixes no sins. You know, it fixes its own story, but it fixes no sins that I hold against it.
I agree. I'll agree with that statement. I have, being such a huge fan of the death of Superman in the comic books, the death of Superman at the end of BVS was a little startling and less of a major event. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's just like, oh, he's dead. Like, I was surprised that it happened. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna kill him. You know, this movie though, just like this is what I wanted in the interactions and the characters when I first heard that BVS was coming. Now this is what I want.
These characters are likable as all get out.
Oh, yeah.
Like they really try. Now some people will argue heavily with me on how likable Ben Affleck is, but other than that, I thought they were likable as all get out. There is a lot of.
So that's one thing too. So Jason's talking about it in the chat here, and let's talk about it now. The runtime was mandated, by Kevin Tsuchihara, the president of Warner Brothers, mandated a 2-hour runtime because of the previous Warner Brothers movies that are well over 2 hours, were not critically received well, and were not able to play regularly or play more frequently in theaters to recoup that money back. I think that the mandated runtime actually hurt this movie.
Oh yeah, this could have been 2 hours 20 minutes,
Easy.
and lighten the load. Everything we need is there.
Yes.
The Flash tells us about himself. Yeah. Like when he's eating the pizza, he's explaining the Speed Force and how he needs to eat for fuel. But again, I call that blinking, you miss it. Cyborg and his dad basically give us Cyborg's origin.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, when I hear what was cut, I'm like, you know what? I'll take this any day. You know, I was very big on Cyborg being treated respectfully going into this movie because prior to this movie, I encountered so many people. I encountered new people in my life who were like, oh, they need to stop trying to make Cyborg happen. Mm-hmm. You know, and this was like at first it was 2 people. The morning of that event I went to. Mm-hmm. Then it was a couple other people. Then it was people who...
I remember you telling us that story.
Then it was people who I super respect who were like, well, I like the new Teen Titans, but like I never liked Cyborg. And I'm like, oh my, like just mind blowing to me. Mind blowing that people who are in my age group, who we grew up watching the same things and reading similar comics, and they're like, oh, but I never liked Cyborg. But you love the new Teen Titans. You praise George Perez. Yes, I do, but you've never heard me talk about Cyborg. And I'm like,
I don't know a ton about Cyborg, and I'll admit I wasn't like they need to stop making it happen. I'm like, I hope they introduce an interesting character that they treat respectfully from the material, and that they give us something that isn't shoehorned into the story, that it is a natural, organic addition to the story.
And I thought he was, and he actually is the biggest hero of the movie.
Yeah,
they need him for everything.
Well, and the thing, if you think about it, he's a former football player who understands teamwork.
Yep.
Who understands needing to work together, and he brings that to it, and you really feel that in the final battle.
He has something he wants to protect. Mm-hmm. Cyborg was done very well.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and I love how he interacts with all the characters.
Great chemistry with him and his dad.
What bothers me about some of the reviews that have come out about this, or what people are saying about it, is that they're going in, they're taking all the baggage that came with the production of this film into the movie with them. And you can't do that.
This is why reading all those articles and stuff just has to... Just like I think I told you that I did a Justice League blackout where I refused to read any articles 2 weeks prior to. I said I'm not going to read anymore. I'm not going to click on any more clips. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. And I mean, it was good for me. It cleansed my mental palate going in.
I was less than satisfied with how they brought Superman back.
Again, I'm totally in defense of that. Batman said everything he needed to say about Superman's physiology without bringing up the Codex, but described the Codex.
Yeah.
And I thought that was key in bringing him back. I thought, okay, well, we're going to need... a lot of people are like, oh, it was disgusting. Why did the Flash need to do it? I'm like, because Luthor burnt out all the power in that ship, which I think is quite believable watching BVS. I think people would have been like, oh, what a plot discrepancy. Like, that they got it to work. I thought Cyborg recreating a Kryptonian key to power up the ship, I thought that was freaking great. So, yeah, I mean, it worked for me. I don't know. Like, I don't know what other people were expecting. I just feel like for the nature of the universe that they created, this was a really great way to bring Superman back.
The other thing that the audience reviews are at 85%. Rotten Tomatoes score, I believe, is down around 35%.
No, I think it's in the 40s right now.
Oh, is it?
For the reviews.
I think it's been bouncing between 50 and 35. Hopefully it's gone up. And again, Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregator of reviews.
Right. They don't put it. It's not like they're collecting it. If they're collecting it, they're not doing anything.
Right. It is not like they are saying, oh, it's this. They are aggregating all of the reviews, and the critics are going in and deciding what score to set, and then they're aggregating all of those into one number. So this is just the average of what critics have said. That is all that number is. And nobody should ever base going on a movie solely on Rotten Tomatoes. It can be a factor, and that's fine.
Do you know what I love? Friends who go on social media about being your own person. But then have the nerve to post, oh, I don't know about going to see Justice League because all the people whose opinions I respect, their opinions are all over the place.
Go see it and decide for yourself.
Go see it. I carpe freaking diem, people. Like we're all gonna die. The $13 or $18 at the theater. I mean, is it gonna matter? I spent my money on Batman vs Superman. I was very angry. But do you think I cry at night over the $20? I do not.
But the thing is do you want to give them the opportunity to make a better movie? Because Wonder Woman's a great movie.
Yeah.
And because of the money...
so there's a million rumors coming out of this film. But one of them is if this movie does not just fails to be on target, that they're going to focus on a Wonder Woman centric universe, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
Look, the thing is that I hate people who are saying, oh, they just need to trash everything and reboot it. No, you don't. Okay, you live with what you've created and you move forward. And what I love about this movie is they almost addressed the darkness of the previous films, of Man of Steel, of Batman v Superman, of Suicide Squad. They almost address it as though that's the reason Steppenwolf comes back, is because
I wish
everything has gotten so dark on Earth that now is the prime time for Steppenwolf to come back and conquer.
I wish they had played with Suicide Squad just a bit. Because Bruce meets Amanda at the end of Suicide Squad in their after credit scene. And I just wish, I don't know, even if Alfred, when they were talking about contingency plans, even if Alfred had mentioned, should I contact the squad? Just so that we know it's in the air. Because when Superman comes back and has his Pet Cemetery moment, which by the way, I love that. I love calling it the Pet Cemetery moment. You would think that it's like, this is Amanda Waller's number one greatest fear. Yeah. This is the whole reason she created the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So let's talk about our favorite moments in this movie.
Ooh, so I have so many favorite moments. I'm not even sure what to start. So, obviously, mine center around Superman heavily. Yeah. Him showing up and just boom, right to the head of Steppenwolf. I love it. But even more fantastic for me. They're all doing their thing, and Superman hears people in danger. And Batman's like, oh, the Flash is on it. He's like, it's not enough, and takes off to go help. Knowing full well that Wonder Woman and Aquaman are capable of keeping this guy roped up. Yeah. Also, if you guys don't think that Wonder Woman and Aquaman are amazing, let's remind you about the flashback. In the flashback, Ares, Zeus, and other gods are fighting him.
Yeah.
Okay? The Amazons, the clans of man, whatever. But Zeus and Ares are fighting him. This man is fighting all of them on his own with his little army of parademons. And that's how much it took to take him. Now, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are holding their own against him alone. That's the kind of power level we're talking about for Wonder Woman and Aquaman. Let's just put it back in perspective. While Superman goes and saves people. But the whole thing, I love all of it. Because he takes off, and then he catches up to the Flash, is like, hey, Slowpoke. I love it. And then Flash rescues that family that we've been targeting the whole movie. And Superman saves that whole building full of people. And it's great. And then he comes back. And he's like, is this guy still bothering you? Boom! Heat vision! Boom!
So my favorite moment, my number one favorite moment, and Jason, I think you and I are gonna have on the same tone, is when Superman is when he first comes back. And the rest of the Justice League are sort of trying to calm him down and stop him. And he's fighting all of them.
Oh my God!
And the Flash runs around.
And he's like,
he stops and he looks. And
That's so great.
he's like, wait, the realization when Flash realizes that Superman can move
His
as fast
eyes
as
like-
him. And he goes, and he doesn't quite know what to do. Because he's like, is he moving my speed? And then like Superman just backhands him into the wall. Like that was my number one favorite moment. Oh, he flings everybody off.
He flings everybody off. Then does like the Hulk leap to come. No, then swings him.
He backhands him,
No, he goes to
and then he goes to jump up.
Flash does the dip.
He just misses it.
Right, just misses it. But then he does backhand him, and
Yeah.
then that's when Flash gets splattered across the freaking Superman monument. I was like, oh my God!
My other favorite moment.
And then Wonder Woman takes more headbutts in this movie than the NFL in the past 30 years. And she's amazing. She's amazing.
My other favorite moment too is that is when Aquaman's sitting down and he starts saying, "Look, we're all gonna die. Like this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen."
Don't like
and
that scene. So stupid.
By the way, a lot of people have been like, "Oh, you can definitely tell that Joss Whedon added that," and it's not. That's a Zack Snyder scene. That is from the original version of the movie. And when he's sitting there and he had this beautiful moment where he's like, he starts saying like, da 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 da, and you can see Bruce is like, "Oh, I see what's going on." Like, and everybody starts to realize.
No, he can see it, and Wonder Woman can see it.
And then he's sitting on the lasso of truth, and it's
And by the way, that's a take on a moment from one of the Justice League comics.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wonder Woman and Arthur are rescuing somebody in the ocean, and Arthur is coming out of the water with Wonder Woman, and the lasso is tethered to him, and he's not thinking about it. He's telling Wonder Woman how beautiful she is, and how he's married to Mara, and she's like, Arthur, you're hanging onto the lasso. You're hanging onto, and I just thought it was great, and the movie really worked.
It was
with that.
so good. And then the moment with Flash and Superman with the buildings and the truck is also one of my favorites.
He got tangled in the water. Yes. Audiences got to cheer with Superman.
Oh, when he said, "Do you believe?"
Oh yeah.
Yes, that was a great moment too, because you're just like. And by the way, you know, the other thing that I don't think that they didn't make this moment big enough for me after having played it up so much in Batman v Superman is when Flash comes back in time and he tells him Lois is the key. You know, you were right about him. It's Lois.
Yeah.
And then he keeps referring to bringing in the big guns if they have to, and then it turns out Lois is the big guns. That's the moment that Flash is referring to.
Why do I feel like Ma Kent is the other one? Like if Lois is around, we need his mom. Yeah.
But I feel like that they did not connect those story points well enough to call back to Batman v Superman because I really feel like that's what that is, to prevent what happened in his dream sequence. Lois is the key. He needed to see Lois in order to come back to being him.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, and the moment where they see each other, and Batman's like, "Look, if he's got to kill me in order to be
right,
to
I'll do
come
the
back,
I'll take the
he's
trade.
Like, I'll take the trade any day." I mean, I think he even says that. So. The audience that I was with too, they cheered at certain parts of the movie too. When he comes back, they laughed when he recognizes Flash.
Listen, I went with two different groups, right, on both trips. The first group, I didn't know what to suspect for myself.
Yeah.
And one of them was my friend Rich. And when we walked outside, Rich didn't love Wonder Woman when we walked out of Wonder Woman. You know?
Yeah.
Rich, like, it was okay, but, like, I don't...
Yeah.
He didn't feel like a woo when he left. But when we left Justice League, he felt that woo. Right? So I was very impressed with that. And, of course, I was like, well, yeah, no, I have no problems here. I'm happy with everything. It's not perfect, but I'm super happy with what they did. Yeah. So we were all in agreement. The second time I went with two of my friends who, like... we've been all over the place with the DCU and with Marvel and with everything. And I told them when we sat down in the theater, I said, I want you guys to know I have emotionally prepared myself for you two to hate this movie. Like, it's okay. Like, I've prepared myself. It's fine. And then we watched the film, and the two of them were like, yeah, it was pretty good. Like, yeah, I want more, and I don't know what the heck is wrong with people. And I'm like, yay!
Shane is saying he loved the chemistry between Wonder Woman and Batman.
Yes, that scene is awesome. Now, one particular scene I have in mind is awesome.
Yeah, the whole scene was great. Jason says there was supposed to be a scene dealing with the nightmare during the big fight. He tries to tempt Superman. Yeah, that would have been interesting. I wish they would have connected more the Lois connection to that, like the whole reason why Flash goes back in time. But again, you know, the other moment that I really enjoyed is the Green Lantern cameo at the beginning of in the flashback fight.
Yeah. I was happy to see that.
Who is that? Yara? I forget who that is. That was a specific Green Lantern.
Yeah, I know. Character. I can't remember his name. And then one other random Green Lantern.
Yeah, and the ring, seeing the ring zip around like it doesn't. Like, very excited. I'm surprised that we didn't see an actual Green Lantern.
Again, I feel like complications.
But overall, great movie. I hope people go out and see it this holiday weekend. I hope that I don't think it's going to have the second week box office drop like all the other films.
Internationally, it's doing very well.
Opened huge in China, which is great, and that's important because
I wonder what they have in the movie that correlates to China, because that's China only takes in 50 or 100 foreign films a year. And, usually to do it, you got to, slip one of their actors in the movie.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because in Age of Ultron, one of their most famous actresses is the doctor who performs on Tony.
It's because China financed that film. That's why she's in there. China finances actually more Marvel movies than you can think.
I'm sure.
And that's why they usually add characters of Chinese descent or Chinese actresses or actors.
But also whole scenes that we don't get.
Right.
You know?
Right.
They're like...
was it Iron Man 3? Or I think it was Iron Man 3. There's a character, there's a whole nother scene that doesn't exist in the US version. That is the guy that he meets at the beginning of... When he's at back in 1999 when he's in... he's at the Swedish New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
There's an Asian man that he meets there's a whole nother scene attached to that because again China helped finance China the country helped finance some of those Marvel movies. So that's I think that's more why when they they have to include actors and actresses like that. But
hey Chris,
how's it going? Chris, have you been watching our entire review? It turned Superman into a zombie. I don't know. We really enjoyed. Go back and watch our full review if you weren't here the whole time. So I think this movie is going to be financially successful worldwide. J.K. Simmons already teased us that he's seen the Justice League 2 script. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I think that this is a turning point for the DC universe. I think they're now going in the right direction. I hope it's not too little too late.
Yeah.
I hope that people stay on board with this. I hope word of mouth spreads that this movie is actually really good and that people should go see it.
Well, people need to see it.
Yes. Because
I stand by the fact that I think it's good.
Yeah.
But also because I would like to see the Injustice League.
Oh, let's talk about so there's 2 post-credit scenes.
Yes.
I missed the first one.
Superman versus Flash.
I went to the bathroom. Yeah.
Aww.
Cool. I'll see it again because I want to go see this movie again. That's all I was thinking when I watched the movie. So, Chris, what did you think of the movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What were some of your favorite parts? I'd love to know.
Jason says, "Thank you, Jeff Johns." I don't know, Jason. I realize that he has an elevated position and all, but we'll see.
I think he helped on Wonder Woman a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like
he probably helped here quite a bit.
Yeah, well, he came on board. In time to course correct this as well. And the rumor has it too that shortly after they began filming this, and which was right after BVS came out, that they took a hard look at Zack Snyder's style and they made them change a lot of stuff before they had finished filming this, like to go in that lighter direction, and even set visits that showcased that as well. LOD. And I think that they knew that they needed to do that. I think that all of the negative press and baggage that came out, and also the unfortunate circumstances with Zack Snyder's family, that forced them into, having Joss Whedon take over. And I feel like there was a lot of unnecessary and unwarranted assumptions made based on those things that happened. And so I think people should go see it. I think it's a great movie. Hey, Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Joe.
A shout out to you and Ethan. Hope everything's going good. And glad you could join us. Hopefully we'll provide a good distraction for you guys.
LOD, Legion of Doom. Legion of Doom.
Oh, yeah. So, okay.
The way he said, don't you think we should have a league of our own? I felt more in Justice League. That's just how I felt.
Oh, in Justice League? I think so to set this up, I return. I go to the bathroom. I come back. Okay, I sit down. I've missed the first credit scene. I didn't even realize I missed it. I sit down. Then it comes up the post credit scene after the credits, which is what post credit scene means. And there's they do the Luther thing that he's not in the jail. Mm-hmm. Then it's nighttime. There's a yacht and a boat pulls up, and I see the outline of katanas on the silhouette of somebody in the boat, and I said out loud in the theater, "Oh my God, it's him!"
Yeah. And
then he walks up, and you can see glimmers of his armor, and I said, "Oh my God, it's Deathstroke." And then he walks in, and Joe Manganiello is there, and he takes the mask off, and he's the white hair and the eye patch, and I'm like, yeah!
So happy.
And then
Lex
looks like Lex, acts like Lex.
Yes, not acting like a Joker fool. Like I was just like, I'm like, oh thank God. You know what's really great about this?
I think he was partially possessed by some kind of
box
thing in the first.
That's a great excuse that they can run with, because he was having the visions.
Yeah,
he says to Batman he was having the visions, and Batman's clearly been having visions, so that's okay. Yeah. They're two of the most brilliant men on Earth. It's okay, baby. I believe you. Now that's over, and Superman's flying around the sky again. Now you can go be the Lex I want you to be.
And he already had animosity.
Elizabeth, hi.
I don't care what anybody says about Lex Luthor's motivations in Batman v Superman. I believed the reasons why he wanted to destroy Superman and Batman.
I love the flashback battle too, Elizabeth.
Hi, Elizabeth. I had mentioned I love the Green Lantern cameo and just all the superheroes and stuff. That's a really geeky scene. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. I was so torn. I was so disheartened when I found out it was Zeus and not the ones in Shazam.
Jason. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because I was like, oh my God, please be Shazam! Please, let's just go with the
That would have been a nice. That would have been a nice touch too. So
I'm super looking forward to that movie. This movie has only made me like full steam ahead for Shazam film.
I am now super excited about every DC movie that's about to come out. I really am. Yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed it.
It's a huge move for me. Just for my love of Superman alone. You know, I will say I'm going expecting a perfect film.
It's another one of my criticisms is it does have a somewhat cookie cutter ending.
Yeah,
You
but
know?
I mean, like, it's okay
But
for me.
look, there's this. What people fail to realize is that this film production, and maybe it's I have a little bit more sympathy because I've worked in film production. I know how difficult it is to make a $1 million movie, let alone a $250 million movie that then you have to go back and rework and reshoot and add another 25, 30, 40, 50 million onto.
By the way, I can't get Everybody Knows out of my head from the opening. That song has been just like, oh my God, when I was reading Doomsday Clock, I was playing Everybody Knows while I was reading it.
So this movie, the unfortunate, circumstances of Zack Snyder's family, the fact that they shifted gears right after production started, Joss Whedon coming in, having to take over the film for Zack Snyder, first doing rewrites to strengthen up the story and add more Wonder Woman, then to do the actual overtaking of the finished production, being mandated to a 2-hour runtime, to Paramount refusing to allow Henry Cavill to shave his mustache. And how many reviews did I read where they were like, oh yeah, the
so
CG, blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what?
It didn't distract me at all.
That's nobody's fault but Paramount's.
Yeah.
And so Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon did what they needed to and what they could to make it work. And yeah, it's not perfect. And you know what? That's fine. The intention is still there. The scene, it's like, how can you blame anybody for that? I don't understand how you can blame somebody for that. Like, they couldn't get Paramount to let him shave his mustache, so this is a terrible movie. Or that scene's like, it takes me out of the scene or whatever. It's like, you know what? Get over yourself, okay? It's that is the most ridiculous reason to not to pan a film or to not enjoy a scene I've ever, It's like when you go to a play and somebody trips or somebody enters or a doorknob doesn't work right. Do you demand your money back? Do you say, oh, it's a terrible play? No, because it's something not in their control. It just that really upsets me to like, I can't even like, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right, Joe. It was. So anyway, there's a lot of great stuff in this movie. Go see it. It's worth the money to go see it. And they're at a point now. Give this one a chance because it's gonna. If we all support it, we're gonna get more films like this and like Wonder Woman that we all enjoy and we all want to go see. So, on that note, let's move on to what did we play?
Ooh.
And.
What did you say there?
Since he just couldn't glue on a mustache. Oh, it was I'm pretty sure that's possible, but I'm pretty sure Paramount also had a say in it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Is Jason speaking firsthand? Because he did meet him while he had the mustache on.
Jason did?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Did you ask him about it, Jason? Huh?
He might have. I mean, I saw the picture on Facebook, so haha.
Did he have a mustache when you met him, Jason?
In the picture.
He did?
Oh, yeah. And a little beard. I would have taken bearded Superman. I would have totally taken bearded Superman.
Better than mullet Superman. Oh, my God. From the 90s.
Oh, don't even. I can't. I can't.
All right, so let's move on to what did we play. Very quickly, I want to touch on Pokemon.
Pokemon?
That's right. I'm kind of a Pokemon nerd. I didn't used to be.
I don't have a problem with Pokemon. I'm sorry I made the face.
Did you make a face about me playing?
I totally made a face.
Unacceptable.
It's just we've never opened the door to this territory before.
To fun video games?
I mean we did a little bit of Mario.
Yeah.
We played Clank, but now we're entering the world of
I'm
Pokemon.
going in there. I'm going in the Pokeball, baby. This is my new 2DS XL. I love it. It's actually got Pokemon running right there. So, and a button, press that button. It doesn't do anything. Did you just crack my screen?
Probably.
Holy cow.
Nah. You're like pressed up on like it's supposed to do something.
Exactly.
And then,
it doesn't do anything.
Like no, maybe they shouldn't have put a button there.
You pressed it really hard.
Wait, oh, I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Do we not press buttons hard?
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Holy cow.
Like that.
Oh my God. At least you're not hitting me. Oh, jeez. Anyway, I just wanted to mention Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out last Friday. And this is a sort of... this is a remake of the ones that just came out last year, Sun and Moon, and it's the last game that's going to be on the.
He said it a few times. He said it to me as well. He said it in interviews.
Okay, all right. Well,
of course he did, Jason.
There was. I
love that picture, by the way.
There was a legitimate reason why they couldn't, why he still had the mustache, and it's whatever.
Yeah. Sun and Moon.
So. This is also kind of like the greatest hits that's sort of wrapping up the Pokemon journey on the portable.
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Ultra Sun.
So it's not just Sun and Moon.
No,
Sun and Moon. It's like a special edition.
Sun and Moon came out last year.
Yeah, and that was the Alola Islands, right?
Yes, this is also Alola. This is basically the same story, but they've added a new set of characters. The story is the story like plot points are pretty much the same,
but it's bigger.
There's definitely more characters that you're interacting with on the journey.
There's like side quests now, or bigger side quests.
There's more side quests,
right? Which means more Pokemon, I hope.
Yes, there are more Pokemon, different Pokemon than the first versions. It takes place on the same area, but you get to interact and do things differently. And also this game, because this is the final games on the portable consoles, the 3DSs, 2DSs, and the next game will be on the Switch,
which is both console and portable.
Exactly. This is sort of like a greatest hits. They're touching on a lot of touchstones from previous games. There's a Pikachu Valley, so if you're a big Pikachu fan, you can get like outfits and costumes for your character in the game. You can get special Pikachus with hats from every character. The Ash character from the anime, that he has a different hat in the different regions.
I have to go. Bye, Jason. I love you
Jason.
too.
Thank you for watching the show.
He's great.
And the villains in the post game are sort of like it's the Rainbow Rocket, which is Team Rocket is from the first two games. We haven't seen them since. Giovanni was the boss, sort of like the mobster guy, and he's collected villains from throughout the game series. And so the post game is going to have a lot of like confronting those previous villains. So it's really like a wrap up of what they've done on the portable consoles. And I think once we move to the Switch, we're going to have a much different game, possibly more of an open world RPG feel, similar to Zelda Breath of the Wild or even Mario Odyssey to some extent. And because a lot of people have been craving for that, and they did say that Breath of the Wild is the new template moving forward for a lot of their games. Like it's the new standard for how they're going to measure success and possibly how they're going to introduce the game. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm a big Pokemon fan. I play the TCG every once in a while, and so I've been excited. And if anybody else is a Pokemon fan and hasn't picked this game up, I highly recommend it. Or just picking up Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, some of the best Pokemon games that they've ever done. If you've played the older games too, and you're sort of bored with that, go to a town, battle in a gym, go to a town, battle in a gym.
I don't think anyone who loves Pokemon ever gets bored with that.
Well, sometimes. Because, for 20 years, that's how the games worked. And now they really changed it up. You do these island trials, and you meet some really new and interesting characters, and it's a lot of fun. And they approach things in a different way than they have in previous games. So I highly recommend these games.
I'm a little sad this is their last entry for the portable console.
Yeah, I mean, I am and I'm not. Like, they're certainly going out in style by releasing this. They're also, like I said, touching on some of the previous villains and stuff. But I think that we're going to get a really good, robust, expansive version of this game on the Switch. So really excited about that. All right, so let's move on to let's crack open a brick. Let's crack open a brick. Aya, do you know Aya?
Yes.
How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Here,
Is that my... Okay. I'm not sure if that's Jason or Jason's significant other. No, not the Jason we were just speaking to. My other friend, Jason.
No, I was just showing the picture.
Oh, okay.
All right, Adam, you got the table cam ready there? The unboxing
I'm already grabbing my first pick.
Do it. Do it. So, you're familiar. You're more familiar with this set than I am. I have not seen a lot of stuff other than some of the pictures of the figures.
So
What's the good stuff? What's the good stuff to pull from this set?
God of Death Flash.
God of Death Flash, which by the way just sounds awesome. Can I just say that?
I think some of the Furies are cool. By the way, Sinestro Corps Scarecrow here.
Ooh.
And he's an uncommon.
Is he was in War of Light? What was he in?
He was in that War of Light starter. If you remember correctly.
Yeah. But wasn't he in the War of Light comic?
Of course.
Yeah.
He was one of the few people who got a ring.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because that's the one where like Lex got the greed, and Flash got hope and stuff. So
absolutely. I'm just gonna put the really cool. You know, it's funny. He's an uncommon. I'm putting him out. But here, let me also put up the rare.
What about
Harley's an uncommon. She looks good.
All right, so let's see. I just pulled an Enchantress. Suicide Squad Enchantress. I got a Robin. Who is that Robin?
That's
not
Spoiler.
Yeah,
that's when she was Robin for a while. When she was actually Robin, not alternate universe Robin.
Mercenary. Ooh, a mercenary. How many points? 15 points for a mercenary?
Yep.
I'll take that.
But if all you have on the field are people named Mercenary, they all KO.
Oh, that's interesting.
And a 75-point Enchantress.
Yeah.
I got Catman, Batman, a GCPD. Oh, Supergirl!
Holy cow. Somebody's excited.
Yo, she is amazing, especially in sealed. You want her. For 160 points, 7 range, Team Superman, and starts with an 11 attack and 12 movement, hypersonic speed, 18 defense, invincible, and 4 damage with leadership. Plus, she gives the other bombshells that are adjacent to her super senses.
Very cool.
She is very cool.
Very cool. All right, let me see what I got over here.
This cheap little Batman, 65 points. He starts with Outwit. He's got Batman Ally. He's really good. He's a monster in sealed.
We got a Catwoman, bombshell Catwoman.
Yeah, Batwoman.
Oh,
She's
Batwoman.
She's got the baseball.
Oh,
bat.
it is Batwoman.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Talk about a league of their own.
Hell yeah. Look at her.
Very cool.
Very.
Very cool. Look at that. Are the bombshells all rares in this set?
All except Harley. They're all rare or super rare.
What's Harley?
Harley's an uncommon.
Oh, nice. And then Grail. Super rare Grail.
I got Mara. Oh my god. No, she is Chase Grail, by the way.
Oh, Chase Grail?
Yeah, Grail is the Chase.
Oh.
I didn't know that until I noticed it on HD Realms.
Oh, wow. Who is,
Apparently Wonder Woman's the other Chase, it looks like.
Who is Grail?
She is Darkseid's daughter with one of the Amazons. And she's the one at the end of the Darkseid War who takes off with his baby body. So they imprison the essence of Darkseid inside the body of Crime Syndicate Superwoman's baby that she was pregnant with at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that Owlman's or? It's hinted that it's Owlman's.
It's hinted that it's Owlman's. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it's something they do not even care. No, her and Alexander Luthor.
Oh.
The big super evil Luthor, yeah.
Mazaz,
yeah.
Mazaz.
So again, something I feel
Catwoman?
was not like wonderfully handled story-wise.
It's funny. I sort of
Stompa!
Stompa.
Oh, and a super rare Harley who is not a bombshell.
Really?
Yep. Check her out.
That's from her comic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, why is she gray? Oh, it's just her.
Yeah. Chicken Harley.
Oh,
Yeah.
somebody big in here.
Sand? No. Oh, it's
Is
red.
this
It's
another
Red
Harley?
Lantern, Black Lantern, Harley.
Oh wow.
Her prime is Green Lantern Harley. She's awesome.
Wow. That is a figure right there. Look at that. Look at that. So she's got 2 rings.
Yeah. She's got 2 effects
Very
from 2.
cool.
She starts off with a lot of poison. She's really great.
So her entire first dial is brown. Oops, I just dropped her.
Hypersonic speed,
poison, impervious,
and perplex.
Perplex. Does she? Wow, it's for 2 clicks. She's got that. That's
Yo, I'm gonna pull out this Wonder Woman who's like no big deal. She's 45. She's 40 points GSA, but her trait allows anyone within 5 squares who's GSA to share their defenses if they're adjacent.
Really?
Yes.
Like JSA keyword?
No, JSA team ability.
Isn't that already the team ability?
No.
Oh, did they change it?
No, the team ability is if you're adjacent, you can swap defense.
Yeah.
Right? Hers makes it that anyone within 5 who's GSA.
Oh, anybody within 5.
Right, so she's like swapping defense with a guy 5 feet away. Be like, oh, I have super senses now. Have fun.
That's kind of like the Kingpin from the Superior Foes of Spider-Man
With
set,
sharing,
who
yes.
shares the Sinister Syndicate team ability.
Absolutely.
Here's Bombshell's Catwoman, who's also an uncommon. She's also an uncommon. Set her down there.
It's really nice that they have a nice...
Also got 40-point JSA Wonder Woman in this pack. Let's see. How many more? Do you have a couple more there?
Nope, this is it.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
And I've got one more. This is perfect.
Oh, I got them... Who's supposed to be my rare? Oh, I guess... No, he's common. So I guess my rare is female Joker. From Thrill Killer. Yep.
Dr. Harley Quinn is the
There we
rare on
go.
this one. Oh, she looks strong. Dr. Harley Quinn. And then I got... how many bombshells are in this set?
Oh my God, there's so...
I think
there's
we got
still
all of them
Stargirl-
except for Wonder Woman.
Stargirl is one, and Wonder Woman is one.
Here's Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Here's Bombshell's Poison Ivy.
So,
Very cool.
so basically...
Oh, they made a figure of me. Big Tony.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, he was my best 15 points of perplex. This is just a cool sculpt for a Manhunter. I am so... so this was very good for a brick, by the way.
This is really good.
I mean, Supergirls is super rare, Harley's super rare, and Chase, maybe even Ultra Chase, depending on what I've been hearing about on the realms of Grail, phenomenal. This is a phenomenal pull here.
Awesome. Well, these are hopefully going to be available on KGS's website this weekend
With some Black Friday action.
Maybe Cyber Monday. I'm not sure what the deals are on the websites, but I will tell you that speaking of Black Friday, all weekend at the KGS Poughkeepsie store, 20% off store wide. There are a couple of exceptions just because of some we can't legally advertise certain discounts, but most everything is 20% off across the board at the Poughkeepsie store. Heroclix, both at Poughkeepsie and Catskill, $10 a booster for 5-figure boosters and $2 gravity feeds across the board. That includes Civil War. So if you want to get those expensive Civil War packs, they're only $10 this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, both locations.
Civil War packs became expensive.
Well, the retail on Civil War packs is $15.99 because you get 8. You only get 8 in a brick because of the prize pack. So when they allowed us to resell the Civil War OP boosters, you have to up the price to make up for the difference.
Interesting.
Because you don't the brick is the same price. But you have to divide it by 8 with no super booster.
That will be very good for new players.
Yes.
Because I just want you to know that everyone who played through Civil War, I can't imagine them wanting to spend another dime on it. Sorry to say.
I'm just delivering the information here,
it's
kids.
good information. If you have a friend who's new, that is run and grab those Civil War boosters.
That includes...
and for you guys, this is a great set. Okay, get some.
Yeah, this is very cool. That includes Harley Quinn and Thor that just came out. So
And up here in Catskill, 25% off board games for Black Friday, right?
25% off board games.
All weekend.
A lot of special deals in all the sections. So if you do come up to Catskill or check out our website, right on our website, kgsonline.com, there's a link that's got the Black Friday deals. You click on that, it'll show you all of our Catskill deals specific to each department. Generally, it's 20% off singles of any single cards, and I believe that extends to Heroclix, but I'll just double check on that. I don't think we actually specifically made a Heroclix single sale. And these are in-store prices, not online prices. I'm not entirely sure what the online department is doing, but
That'll be Cyber Monday, probably.
yeah, hopefully. So cool stuff in this set. If you're a fan of the Bombshells or Harley Quinn, this is definitely a set to go after. It seems like there's some pretty decent pieces in this too, playable pieces, stuff that we may see in the meta here coming up, and is there Fast Forces with this set?
There is a Fast Forces.
There is.
It's based on Thrill Kill. So there's a Batman in there. There's the Batgirl and the Robin of that series. Maybe another version of that Joker, and a Thrill Kill Harley in there too.
So a lot of cool stuff in this set, a lot of fun figures, and the next set that's coming out, I'm super excited about. Star Trek.
Is that soon-ish, or did they kind of like?
That's the first week in December, I believe.
They didn't push it back at all. They're just like here.
It was supposed to release in November.
Just jam it.
They pushed it back a month.
I know, but
I think it was supposed to come out before Harley.
Yeah, I thought it was like almost like they were like neck and neck.
Yeah.
But anyhow, I mean, I don't know what caused them to push it out, but we were talking about this before, and I said we were coming around to it again.
Yeah.
They just
this year has been
beat us
saturated.
down with product this year, and I don't know how they're going to address that in the future. But like WizKids, you cannot do this again.
I'll be honest with you.
You need to tone it down.
The Heroclix player base is definitely in a bit of a flux situation right now. I think this is a great time for new players to jump into the game.
Yeah. Also, let's keep in mind too, some of the reason that we've been seeing a disharmony in play groups is, colleges, going out of season. Like it's like, oh, people are going home for the holiday.
August into September is typically a slowdown time, I find, in Heroclix, because college kids are moving around and whatnot.
The holidays start coming and wrecking everybody's life.
I normally see a pick back up in like October, November, and then like the holidays are hit or miss. But it's been rough, and I think that there's a lot of things that need to be worked out. I think the game is going to survive. I have no doubt. I think that they're taking some necessary steps, but I'm a little concerned with how quickly we should be picking back up with playgroups and stuff, and how I'm
a little concerned with only 9 players for PAX Unplugged.
That blows my mind. You told me that right before we started filming, and I was like, I just can't imagine that. So
yeah, but again, I just feel like it was just all too much, especially on a weekend. PAX Unplugged versus there's 5 WKOs I could go to just in the tri-state area of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut alone.
Yeah. So there's definitely some things that we're gonna have to look at. So let's move on to our final thoughts for this episode. This is a great time to be alive if you're a fan of geeky stuff, especially DC stuff. The TV shows are hitting it. The movies are really coming around.
If you just sort of like the stuff, you're being fatigued to no end.
And that's a real thing. Superhero fatigue is a real thing. I tend to look at it as I guess I compartmentalize it a little bit better. I can say, okay, this was really good, so I'll watch this. This isn't really good, so I won't watch that. And one doesn't really affect the other as a superhero. I think that superhero movies need to continue being multi-genre. Like superhero genre really shouldn't be a genre. Yeah. Superhero movies should be like any other movies. It's a heist movie. It's a whatever.
Ant-Man is a heist movie. Yep. Winter Soldier is a
political thriller.
Well, what's the other word? Like it's like political thriller meets. Forget it. We're just gonna go political thriller. I'm tired. buddy movie, Thor and Ragnarok.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of a buddy movie.
So with tomorrow being Thanksgiving, let's take a moment to say what we are thankful for being geeks and in this time. And I'll go first. I am thankful for all the people who put all the effort and hard work into making these awesome shows that we're watching. The DC TV shows, the all the Marvel TV shows except for Inhumans. The Marvel Netflix shows. Star Trek Discovery, I have been over the moon about.
And you can't wait for it to come back from break. I'm sure.
But I love the week to week. I really enjoy it, and I love being able to sit and I'm like, okay, the mid-season finale was really good. I'm letting it rest. It's been great. I'm going to rewatch everything going into the second half of the first season. The Tick is going to come back in February,
right?
Yeah,
January, February. We get the second half.
JCVD is coming
finally coming back. Yes,
to Amazon. Yeah.
You were so happy when I told you.
So
hope was not lost.
Yeah. And the movies, the Marvel movies, the DC movies. This is a great time to be alive if you're a geek, if you grew up a geek. And I'm thankful to everyone who puts in that hard work that gives us all of this awesome stuff that we get to watch. Even if people are getting fatigued, even if some of it's not, up to the best quality or whatever compared to other stuff, it doesn't take away from the fact that people want to make good movies and good TV shows and good products, and that they're working really hard to do that. So I'm very thankful for those people.
No, I am too. Let me not go the wrong way, but I feel like I'm gonna go in a very sentimental direction.
Oh boy!
By saying I'm really grateful for even though we have lots of toxic people out there, I'm really grateful for our communities. I'm so grateful for our gaming community and our comic book convention, our comic book geeks who I see at conventions. Basically, the people who I see when I go to a play at a WizKids Open in another state, and when I'm going to a convention in New Jersey or New York, and just all of that, like that. I'm so grateful for that community. A community that a community I very much needed to not feel so alone, and possibly the strongest and still, despite everything, most welcoming community of all the communities I belong to. I guess everything's a construct, so yes, they're all constructed communities, but if it's not the strongest and the best, it is like tied neck and neck, because I just I think my first big convention where I was completely alone, and I was 13 years old, was a show in Boston. And my mom was like, I'm going to go hang out with my friend. I can't be here all day. You got your ticket.
Yep.
Go have a good time. And, we'll see you in 4 hours.
Yeah.
And, that was the first time I met Todd McFarlane.
Yeah.
And just all sorts of stuff, and just like scouring comic book boxes, looking for stuff I was needing. I met Mark Bagley. I had him sign Carnage's first appearance, a whole bunch of Amazing Spider-Man,
wow.
And he was like, and he had just told me how he was leaving New Warriors to go like full on Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, oh my god, no, I love New Warriors too much. Don't do this. And that was such a great time with him. And I met Mike Mignola at the show. Anyhow, I don't even know where all this. I'm saying, but that was like the first show I went to. I was completely alone, and like I was scared. And like by the end of that weekend, I felt like one of the gang, and it was at 13 years old.
You felt you belonged there.
I felt I belonged. It felt really good. And 13 was like an incredibly rough year for me. My grandmother was in and out of the hospital the whole year. My mother's mother, and then she died on December 13th.
Wow.
So that was, in 1991. And I was 13. Yeah, I was 13, December 13th. Like, I was really messed up by the whole thing. And, so it felt good to me because I finally felt like I found some belonging somewhere. Anyhow, so like I said, I was going to get very sentimental about this, but that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the wonderful people in this community and the support I get.
Me too. And on that note of gratefulness, thank you for watching. And I'm your host, Tony Cox.
And I'm Clifford Parmiter.
And we'll see you next time.
And enjoy your Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S.